Hi, for our topic that we researched is the dark side of informal communication networks.
Just like your favorite childhood superhero, whether that be Superman or if it's Batman, informal communication networks have a dark side. And these networks can be incredibly detrimental to the health of any business or organization. Hi, my name is Gavin Meyer. I'm a junior studying animal science here at Iowa State University. And as I will touch on later, I interviewed Mr. Justin Chestnut of Elanco Animal Health about the informal communication networks that are found in his workplace.
Hi, I'm McKenna Cox. I'm a sophomore in apparel merchandising and design. And I will also be talking about Angie Jorgensen, who is a sales executive for Steve Madden.
Hi, my name is Bryce Schultz. I'm a senior. I will be talking about my interview with Ashley Adamson from the Davenport Community School District and the experiences she's had with informal communication networks in the workplace.
So first off, I'm going to give you the definition of formal and informal communication. For formal communication, it refers to interchange of information officially. The flow of communication is controlled and is a deliberate effort. This makes it possible for the information to reach the desired place without any hindrance at a little cost and in a proper way. And then for informal communication, it is casual communication between coworkers in the workplace. It is unofficial in nature and is based in the informal social relationships that are formed in a workplace outside of the normal hierarchy of business structure. And then here are a couple examples of formal and informal communication. For formal communication, it is mostly seen in a professional setting. There is no slang, and you pronounce the words correctly. And for informal communication, that's usually used with friends and family. It contains shortened version of words, and it does contain slang words.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the different types of informal communication networks that are found in many businesses and organizations all over the country and all over the world. The first one I'm going to touch on is the single-strand network, otherwise known as the chain network. So under this communication pattern, the information flows from one person to the next person, one by one. It will be the same message over and over, and it will just go from one person to the next person to the next person to the next person. Pretty self-explanatory, and one of the more inefficient types of informal communication networks. The next network is the gossip chain network. So in this one person tells the same story to a bunch of different people. And whether that is a rumor or factual information, whatever it may be, it's one person spreading whatever message they have to spread to a bunch of different people. The third type of network is the probability chain network. And this one is extremely random. So one person tells a couple people something, and then maybe the people that he told are going to tell different people. Maybe they aren't. Sometimes it goes, yeah, I'm going to tell 2 more people, or the next person says, I'm going to tell 5 more people. It's very random, and that's why it's called the probability network, because you really don't know what exactly is going to happen. And the final network type that I'm going to touch upon is the clustered chain network. And the way this works is one person is designated to tell 2 or 3 people the message, and those 2 or 3 people are designated to tell 2 or 3 more people the same message, and then that just continues. One person tells 2 or 3 people, and one person tells 2 or 3 people, and it just keeps repeating and keeps moving on. So those are the 4 common types of informal communication networks that you will usually find in a business or organization.
And then I'm going to talk about some of the benefits and downfalls of informal communication. A benefit is it's just a different way to share information. It can increase efficiency and flexibility of communication. That is due to the bond it forms with some coworkers, and it can make the work environment just a lot more enjoyable for certain individuals. The downsides are it can lead to a lot of conflict, such as bullying or exclusion, or among other things. It can be very misunderstood. You can misunderstand something important. It is also a very easy way for rumors to be started. It can limit the secrecy of important matters, and it can lead to the exclusion of coworkers. The different types of informal communication are verbal, cyber, and cliques or groups. I'm going to touch on those in the next few slides. So for verbal, it is one of the most common ways that people communicate. We've been doing it forever almost. It feels more personable, and this can have a downfall to other people unintentionally, and that is if you use things such as sarcasm, or you try to make a joke with somebody else and it makes them feel uncomfortable. You might not intentionally be disrupting that person, but it can have a downfall. Cyber information communication networks, that is one of the most common of informal communication. Everybody uses social media these days. As you can see, there's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Almost everybody uses it, and it can be a good thing for you to get your name out there or communicate with friends. But the other thing people have to realize is when you post something to social media, it is there forever. So if you make a rude comment about a coworker or release information that your company does not want you to release, even if you delete it, there's a good chance that they're going to find out. So that can not only hurt you and other individuals, but that can be very crucial to the business. Forming groups or cliques, strength in numbers, so it can create a significant impact because multiple people feel the same way as each other, and that makes people, they can persuade people because of the amount of people they have behind them. It can be positive because, again, it can form bonds among people and make them more productive, and they can use each other to work and be more efficient throughout the office. And they can also help prevent issues that occur in the workplace, because if they see something they don't like and is unprofessional, they can put a stop to it because of the numbers they have. But the biggest downside of this is it can lead to the exclusion of others. If you form a group and you leave someone out and you are unwilling to talk to them or communicate with them or help them with things, that can too also have a great impact on the amount of work that gets done in the workplace. Dark side of informal communications, I already touched on a few of them, but many people are affected. 1 in every 10 employees has reported being bullied in the workplace. That is a very significant number, because if you think about the amount of people we have in the workforce, that is a great deal. That's 10% of everybody. It can affect more than those who are actually targeted. Reports have shown not only the people that are affected by these can quit their jobs, but the people that witness these acts can quit their jobs because they feel it's an uncomfortable and unsafe environment. It's not always malicious intent. Like I said, you can use things as sarcasm or a joke, or post a funny picture of somebody that you might think is funny and others do, but that person did not give you permission or does not feel the same way about it. So it can have it can have a negative impact. The other thing is it can cause rumors and spread to misunderstandings. As he talked about earlier, the different types of networks, such as a gossip chain or probability. When you tell people things and it spreads to a wide amount of people, and if you're saying something that's false or something that someone else doesn't want to have other people know, it can have a great impact on not only their work, but their emotional state as well. And then the other thing is it can cause counterproductive behavior. If you have groups or cliques, it can be good because they can be more efficient and work together, but at the same time, they can become too friendly with each other and get too comfortable and not do work that they're supposed to be doing.
Okay, so for my interview, I Angie Jorgensen, and she is a sales executive for Steve Madden, and which means that she's technically a buyer for shoes specifically. And what I took away from our interview with her is that not everyone deals with informal communication in their workplace. When I had interviewed Angie, she had told me that she works mostly from her home office, so she wasn't very familiar with the informal communication that takes place in a work environment. And then another takeaway is that informal communication is a topic that is often overlooked, but it is easy to recognize the difference between formal and informal communication in a workplace, and it also can be very subtle.
So for my interview, I spoke to Justin Chestnut, as I said before. Justin is a senior district sales manager for Elanco Animal Health. Justin has 11 direct reports, so 11 employees that report directly to him. He works largely with cattle producers, dairy producers, vets, and beef nutrition suppliers and distributors as well. And Justin was very adamant that informal communication networks are definitely present within Elanco Animal Health's workplace. They're always there, and he has to work pretty hard to use them for good and not for evil. I asked him what kind of role does it play within his company, and he said it really depends, because sometimes an informal communication network can be a group of people that have something in common, such as, for example, they talk about an up-and-coming leaders group. So this is a group of young hires that are eager to move up the ranks of the business. And what they do with that up-and-coming leaders group is they give them different special projects that maybe he doesn't have the time in his day to take on, but it's something that he wants to do, or he wants someone under his umbrella to do to improve the business. So Elanco utilizes an up-and-coming leaders group for good, and that would classify as an informal communication network within Elanco. Another informal communication network that they have is called the Experienced Hire Group. With all them up-and-coming leaders thinking that they know it all and wanting to move up the ranks pretty quick through the business, that can annoy some people, and some of the people that are older and wiser and have been around the block, a couple times say, oh, these kids don't know what they're talking about, they don't know what they're doing. And honestly, I think they might be hurting our business. So they have to be pretty careful about that. So that is something that the Experienced Hire Group voices concerns that they have about different things that a younger employee might not see on a daily basis. Another thing is these informal communication networks. So his employees have a lot of driving time. They drive all over the Midwest from producer to producer, and sitting in a car that long, you kind of get bored sometimes. So you call up another salesman and ask him what he's been doing, or what's new in his world and whatnot. And that has a tendency to start rumors or start things that may not be totally true. And Justin may not know about them because he hasn't been involved in communicating to those people. So he called it the telephone concept, just like the game telephone, where you start with one message and you keep telling another person, or the next person tells the next person, the next person tells the next person, and by the end, the message has been so misconstrued that you don't really know what's true and what isn't. He said that's definitely present within the informal communication networks at Elanco.
And then I interviewed Ashley Adamson from the Davenport Community School District. She said groups of coworkers were the most common informal communication, such as people going out to dinner regularly on like a Friday, or going out to lunch a few times a week together. Other than that, she did not encounter encounter many of these among the coworkers, but as a person who's going into the education field, she talked about you have to look for these types of communication networks within the children. And she said children obviously display these. They form groups and cliques, and they exclude others, or some people will bully other students because they just don't really think that they fit in. And she said those are the most crucial things you need to look for, because these children need to learn what's right and what's wrong. And by teaching them at an early age, you can hopefully prevent issues down in their careers, both educationally and professionally. She said also you need to make sure that you present yourself in a professional manner. You can be friendly with them, and you can talk to them about things other than school, but don't feed into any bad behaviors that contribute to these, because it is very important that you get the message through to them that these type of behaviors are not okay at a young age. And then she also said that the school district does a very good job of preventing these issues. That's why you don't see many coworker-to-coworker conflicts on social media or face-to-face. They do a very good job of listening to people if someone has an issue and dealing with it. Other than that, she said everybody is very professional, and you don't, as a teacher, you don't have to worry about it as much as your coworkers as much as you will have to worry about the children.
That is all we have for you today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation.